Exactly what is this information that the NSA is gathering, the information we've been talking about, and what other information of yours is the government able to access? A lot of questions about this. Joe Messeri is joining us now to explain what metadata means to all of us. Joe.
President Obama says the government isn't listening to your phone calls. Rather, the National Security Administration is just collecting something called metadata. But what in the matrix is that? And how do we make all these zeros and ones add up to privacy for us as individuals and protection for our country?
Metadata essentially is data about data.
It's created every time we text and tweet, call, or email. If the data is a picture made up of pixels, the metadata is the time, date, and location that picture was taken. Bob Knudsen is an analyst for Global Digital Forensics, a company specializing in cybersecurity. Knudsen says in the app age of smartphones, people are leaving long trails of metadata every single day.
When you take a picture and send it to someone, there could be information embedded in that picture that tells us where it was taken and when.
Something to think about the next time you're debating which Instagram filter to use. But as we continue to fill silos at server farms with detail after detail of metadata, the laws that apply to that data struggle to keep pace.
As is the case with any advance in technology, and this has always been the case, legislation lags far behind.
Tim Booker is an internet lawyer who deals with cases involving metadata. He says the last time the Supreme Court ruled on the issue was back in the late 1970s.
But this case dealt with whether they need a warrant to tap just the number that you're dialing, and the Supreme Court found, no, you don't.
Fast forward to 2013, and turns out the NSA is harvesting the metadata from those dialed phone calls. Sure, they may not be listening to the actual calls, but if you're dialing Planned Parenthood or an AIDS clinic, you might be able to narrow down the topic of conversation. And Booker says just knowing that you spoke with a physician may not just violate your privacy, it could also violate HIPAA laws.
The very fact that you may have consulted with a doctor or went to a doctor's office, went to the hospital, just the act of that could be considered protected health information.
Some have argued that the massive metadata harvest might be too large to make any sense out of. But keep in mind, Google can sort through billions, maybe trillions of web pages in seconds.
Certainly if we can do that, the government does have programs that can sort through the metadata.
But metadata can also be helpful, acting as a sort of digital Dewey Decimal System for the entire world. Imagine leaving your wallet in a cab and tracking it down through the metadata from a credit card payment.
I don't think it's bad to have the data, but what are we doing with it?
And ultimately, the fate of a simple system of zeros and ones will likely be settled in a complex court case weighing security versus privacy. Joe Messeri, Pix 11 News.